Recording has begun.
Recording has begun. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Shazad Hussain, and I live on 20 Primary Way. And today's date is 4th of October 2023, and it's now been 58 days since I last saw my brother Talib, who's been kidnapped by the state and being held at ransom or held in their custody without giving me access to him. So this is where I live, 20 Primary Way, and I've told you before, privacy is nothing. Privacy is an illusion for the delusional. You think you have privacy? Nobody has privacy anymore. Privacy is finished. And when new laws come in place and the CBDCs come in place, everybody will know everything about everybody, especially the state. So let's not kid ourselves saying that privacy is a thing. Privacy is not a thing. It's lost. Privacy was a bygone era a thing that people had in the absence of technology. Now everybody's surveilled. We live in a surveillance state. You see that up there? You see on top of the lamp there's a little radar there. That's a 5G antenna. On there as well you can see it. And that 5G network is going to be in place. They're going to have drones recording everything. So your privacy is only, I'm just exposing my privacy when your privacy is also going to be exposed soon enough. But let's just focus in on what we're looking to talk about today. So today is 58 days later, and I've got no access to my brother, and I live in fear of my life because I believe the state is trying to hound and persecute me, and it's going to try to finish me off because I'm looking to expose fraud and corruption, endemic fraud and corruption in the adult social care services by the council, and hence why I'm becoming targeted and victimized. Now, you may believe that this is just paranoid delusions. Maybe you are. But this is my reality that I have to live through. And some of the horrific things that I've had to experience lead me to conclude this rather than it just simply being whimsical. Because it's a very easy allegation to make about somebody that somebody's mad. We always say somebody's mad or tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists. And that's just a way of dismissing people, when the reality is that we are living in a world which is changing rapidly. And I don't know who you are that's listening to my words, but I can tell you haven't got it good too. There are going to be issues that you're going to be going through this system that keeps you under control, indoctrinated, indebted to them. Anyway, I was trying to tell a story. That's all I'm here to do, because I live in fear of my life. I believe that the authorities are trying to shut me up because they don't want what I have to say to come out into the public, because that will then enlighten others. So all I'm here to do is enlighten and educate my fellow citizens about the reality of the world that we live in. It's all a lie and a fake, a facade and a deception. And me and my family are suffering as a consequence of it. So, yesterday I was telling you my story. My story is not a who done it, but a how they did it. And it's a murder story. And in fact, it's not a singular murder that's happened. It's a triple homicide. A triple homicide consisting of my late father, who died in June 2009, Ghulam Hussain, and my brother, who died in September 2014, and then recently my mother, who's died in January 2022. 3 people have died. I'm claiming it's a clear homicide. All of them have been murdered by the authorities, and the reason that they've been murdered is to save on care costs in order to get out of, because they became a burden on the state, and the state had done them in. And well, that's what happened in my father's case. In my father's case, it was clearly the case that I was receiving in the order of maybe 1,200 or maybe, I think, 12 to 1,500 pounds a week for the care that my father was receiving from Bradford Council Social Services through direct payments. So that was a great deal of cost. As you can, if it's £1,000 a week, that's £52,000 a year that was being paid by the council to my being paid by the council to my father. So they, by killing him off, and they would be saving all this money. So that's my father's situation. In relation to my Brother Nazim in September 2014, it's evident to me that the reason that my brother was murdered, clearly murdered, they tried to murder him and tried to frame me for it, because at this stage in 2013-14, I was looking to whistleblow, and so that was the person that died. That was my brother died in 2014, and everybody was colluding and conspiring to end his life. It was quite open what happened to my brother, because I was on them. They were trying to frame me. It was not just the case that they were trying to murder him. They were audacious enough to state that, try to murder him and try to pin the blame on me. So that is how audacious they were in 2014. And then in 2015, there was evidently a murder. There was no denying it. They got a high court order to have me removed from here, from this house, and kicked me out of the city, and then had sole care and custody of my mother, and gave her an injection, and she died. So those are the three murders, triple homicide, that I'm looking to expose, and I'm going to explain exactly how it's done by all the parties that are involved, and there's so many parties. I think I mentioned last time, just briefly, spearheaded by the local authority, but it consists of all the other authorities. So the police authority, the health authority, the GP practices. Surprisingly, not only GP practices here in Bradford, but also colluding and conspiring with the local authority in Oldham, and the GP practices there, which I thought there was a separation. There's no separation. They all work in conjunction with each other. So those were the professional bodies that all of you are also involved with, namely the Office of the Public Guardian, the Department of Work and Pensions, the Care Quality Commission, the Information Commissioner's Office. So these are public organizations that you too are familiar with. What I wanted to focus on today was some of the other characters involved, because they cannot, the state can't do anything without having subversive individuals within the family or within the organization. And in my case, they had subversive individuals which I mentioned yesterday, with my own siblings. So my three siblings that are involved are two of my sisters in Bradford and one of my brothers in Bradford. I have a third sister in Oldham, but she's not involved. She has her own mental health problems. So the reality is that it was the siblings here in Bradford. So I just wanted to mention who they are. They are my sister Shaidabi, who lives in a council house, and is really the agent of the local authority. And my sister Khalda, who has a son who has mental health problems, and also my brother Adalat. So these three individuals are my siblings that have also conspired and conscripted, have conspired and been conscripted to murder our own family. So basically, I'm alleging, because which I'm hoping to convince everybody of, that these three individuals, two sisters in Bradford, and my brother Adalat, have conspired to murder our mother. I don't think they had much involvement in the death of my father. In the absence of Khalda, Adalat and Shaida also conspired and were conscripted to murder my brother Nazim in 2014. But most importantly, because they were siblings, they didn't have as much rights as Nazim did, because Nazim had children. And those children were Shagufta, Wasim, and Tasveed. Nazim's children were conscripted in order to end their father's life through the enterprise that the local authority had pursued. So that was in 2014. And in relation to the death of my father in 2009, it was the early stages. I mean, it's just, I know I can appreciate why everybody would find it incredulous of what I'm alleging, because I would find it incredulous as well. In 2009, I definitely found it incredulous that the authorities, the hospitals, and the council would all conspire to end my father's life. But the key aspect is that follow the money. The money trail shows you the truth, irrespective of your prejudicial biases about what you believe is right and just and moral. Follow the money trail. In my father's case, the financial beneficiary was the local authority, who were saving in excess of £60,000 a year, and my father died under unusual circumstances. But there is no blame being laid upon my relatives, namely my sisters and my brothers and my nieces and nephews. They were not involved. They had no involvement at that stage. So I'm not making the allegation, but I'm definitely making the allegation regarding Nazim's murder of 2009, where clearly Shagufta was conscripted by Bradford Council in order to help end their father's life and follow the money trail. She was a net financial beneficiary of his estate, which I had control over through a court order. So it's a complex. I just want to leave it here. I don't want to go on too much, but it's a highly complex uh, who done it or how they done it, because it's everybody involved working together collectively under the Milgram effect of obeying the authorities in order to end somebody's life. So, so just to summarize, to the exclusion of all the professional organizations that are funded by you, the taxpayer, there are other parties involved, namely my blood relations, my siblings, and my nieces and nephews, who have also partaken in this triple homicide. So I will continue, I will end it here, and I will continue to explain how the murders have taken place. You're going to have to forgive me. I mean, this is a 30 to 40-year-old scenario that's been in play. For me to condense it down, I'll try my best, but it's you have to invest your time and resources into listening to what I'm saying. So all I just wanted to summarize is that now we've got all the parties involved, the state and all its organizations, any professional organization, and also the family members that were involved in this triple homicide. And I think we should just end it there. And yeah. And one last thing I would like to say is that just for everybody's understanding, I'm not suicidal and I will not kill myself in case I get killed off by the state. And I think that should be good. That should be a good place to end it. Allah Hafiz.